The Colours That Blind, Chapter 49. The officers were roaming around the yard, looking everywhere, as though something will spit out information about where Bumkuru has gone. And a third officer is Makoma, writing something down, leaning on the car for support. My hands are still trembling, and I jerk every time a leaf rattles, afraid that Bumkuru will emerge out of nowhere and finish the job. Noku also seems unsettled. I don't blame her. She woke up to police roaming around everywhere and me with blood on my shirt. She didn't know it wasn't from me. I'm surprised she didn't cry, because if I'm being honest, I want to cry right now. Her little body is curled up next to me with her head in my lap, and we are both quiet as we watch Makoma. The officer with the clipboard strolls over to me, and I feel dread spiraling through me like a deadly virus. Tamirai, do you mind if I ask you a few more questions, he asks. I look at Makoma. I'm not very keen on reliving this. It feels a lot like the time with the chickens and cabbages. Where did you say you were when your uncle found you? I look again at Makoma as though he has the answers. He nods, telling me it's all right to speak. We were coming from Jabu's house. Right, he says. And was it him you saw hacking at Jabu's hand, or the other man? It flashes in my head. Not the hacking, because I didn't see it myself, but the moment I realised that his 3 fingers were dangling there on his hand, almost as though they would just fall off. I'm still ashamed at how I just stood there, how even after he had been put in the car, I was too afraid to ask to go with him. Did you see the hacking yourself? The officer asks again. I shake my head. But can you describe the other man? The man flashes in my head and my heart shivers. Makoma, can we go now? Makoma comes over to me and presses my shoulder. It's okay, Tumi. Just tell him whatever you remember and we'll be on our way. I nod and try to describe what I can while the officer scribbles. We think this man who was with your uncle is from across the border. That's the problem, because here in this country... No, don't say that's the problem, when it's you who released from prison the man who tried to do this very thing before. You, the police, are the problem, because what we're talking about here is as good as attempted murder, and yet you let a man walk after only serving 3 years for the same crime. Makoma's voice is beginning to rise a little, and I can see on the officer's face that he is not happy about it. We only do what we're instructed to do, sir. We aren't the ones who sentence people. You can't even do anything because the men who did this are missing, aren't they? Perhaps we should offer you a bribe, since that's the language you understand. Maybe then you might actually catch the man. It's not going to help anyone if you start shouting and insulting us like this, one of the other officers says, walking towards us. We're only here to try and help you. No, Carr, that's what I'm refusing. Don't tell me you're trying to help us when this is your job. You're not doing us a favour here, my friend. Sir, please calm down, the officer tells him. For a brief moment, I almost want to chuckle. I must give him this. Makoma is quite entertaining when he's upset. I wonder if he knows. Calm down when murderers are getting free passes from the prisons? He looks at me and orders, "Hey, Tumi, get your bags and Noku's as well." He turns back to the police. We're leaving because clearly the police have nothing to give but apologies. Isn't that right, officer?